find that suspicious, but that's a debate for another day. But I also do think that Kale Kahura's job is not to address a press conference and give us names of criminals.
Oh, he needs your help.
He should not be giving us reports for public relations.
Pray for him.
I do need people arrested and prosecuted. I'll be very happy to hear the spokesperson of police or the judiciary saying that we have received files for people who are being prosecuted for being part of a Chiboko squad, for being part of unlawful assemblies. The truth is, these unlawful assemblies exist in this town. We did a research last year as AKJUL consultants in April, in which we named groups from Buganda to Acholi sub-region to areas of Bugisu. We named them. The groups are known.
All right.
They should be prosecuted. We do not want public relations statement at the major center. We want people in the courts of law.
In an air condition.
And we also want police officers who were at the scene when these people were being beaten to be held to account.
Edmond, what we don't seem to be acknowledging is that this time round, for the last 5 years, government and parliament has really given more money to the institution of police. There has been more recruitment. You can even see people are complaining the uniforms are even too many. So
we still need some more uniforms.
Yes. So I think what is very clear now is that there are, in terms of recruitment, in terms of numbers, police seems to be more prepared. We have given more money.
I'm sorry to cut it. I wish that money was also employed in bettering the life of the common police officer.
Now
look at where they live. Look at what they were.
In terms of recruitment of numbers, I think we have an achievement. In terms of increasing logistics and facilities, even our small districts now have police vehicles. I think that is a plus. Now, the challenge now is, now that we have more numbers of police, now that we have more police facilities, and therefore there could be more quick responses, why should anybody be justifying having his own militia? I think that's where the debate should be.
All right.
Yeah.
So we should
now trust the national police to take quick response.
Yeah. If I can briefly give you the findings of our report.
Right.
The rise of militia groups is in itself an indictment on the conflict resolution mechanisms in this country. These are conflicts
that should be obvious to anyone who went to school. That should be obvious to anyone who went to school.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Opio that before we even talk about anything, we need to address the causes of the formulation of these groups. Why are they formulated?
Maybe we should have a conference of militia groups. They should.
We need experts.
Put them in a hall that looks like a basketball court.
Look at our society and see what is missing and what people require.
You see, whereas the law required at least at every polling station to have a police, the other time we did not have the numbers. What I'm saying right now, we're really having the numbers, and I think those who had the idea in 2001 of militias and 2005 Kanyamas, I think we should now cease thinking that negative way that you'll have to provide your own kind of thing.
We have the numbers, we even have the uniforms. Some of them fit well, some of them are ill-fitting. Let's hear from our listeners. You sent our messages. I'll read them out now. Tom Okiror from Chiraka says, we Ugandans are watching what the NRM is doing, and I'm not vetting them, I'm reading them as they came. Putting acting in paper, I don't quite understand. And I asked them what a mess they have done for this country. I don't quite get that. Somebody else says, Spectrum, what is going to happen to Mwanga Chivumbi, who was put in the Gazette and yet was not the winner? This is Maria. I think that's a clear question. Somebody else says, Edmond, the EC exposed themselves when they gazetted Katongole hurriedly. That's Sing Katongole in Rubaga, Kibaki style. I think he's drawing, that sounds like a Kenyan name. Please note that all Kampala MPs have not been gazetted. Mr. Opio would like your help on that. Then somebody else says, Spectrum, the government is too heavy against the opposition while unevenly in support of movement candidates. Democracy has been swept into the bin. That's Gabriel in Kampala. Yiga from Seguku says, vote rigging and bribes are going to let us lose hope and faith in our own country. This sounds like something from the heart. Somebody else says, Spectrum, can someone or the law stop Mutazindo? I think they mean Molly Mutazindo, the returning officer for Kampala, and group from continuing to manage Kampala elections. They are such a shame to the process. Have them replaced. Mr. Opio, will start with you.
Well, I think Madame Mole Butazimba has shot herself into the fame for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
I'm sure that when she looks back at what she did, she'll have some regrets to make. But also I think, again, going back to the issue of Rubaga and seeing Katongole and what transpired in Rubaga, I think it is shameful. The manner in which the process was conducted, the process was supposed to be supervised by a magistrate. The process wasn't supervised by a magistrate, a chief magistrate. The process was supposed to be certified by a chief magistrate. It wasn't certified by a chief magistrate. The process in the first place went on without, in disregard of a High Court order, which I think is shameful. But this matter is before court. The rules of sub judice bar me as a lawyer from actually commenting on the merits. But I think that what happened was shameful and ought to be corrected, and the right winner in that election declared. But also largely what I see are the voices of the people is what I said before. A growing sense of discontent, a growing sense of disgust with what is happening in our country. And if we don't arrest that situation early, it might go into something very bad. People's voices must be heard, no matter who is the winner. People must be afforded fair treatment, no matter who is the winner. The politics of winner takes it all in disregard of the wider consensus of the country is wrong and might plunge this country into chaos. But lastly, I think the Electoral Commission has in many ways given credence to the cries of the people about it being unfair, about it being impartial. Because you see, I've had sentiments within the movement, within the ruling party, that are uncomfortable with the Electoral Commission.
Oh.
Yes. I've had the president speak at press conference and say the opposition had infiltrated the Electoral Commission.
Well, he actually
using it to rig.
He expected 84%. He got only 68.
Yeah.
So
everybody is uncomfortable.
Individual corrupt people.
Everybody is comfortable with this Electoral Commission, and that needs to be addressed and addressed urgently.
Mr. Mayanja, Mwanga Chivumbi, he was gazetted and he was not the winner. Very briefly.
Well, those are the many mistakes. In fact, it makes the entire talk about the Gazette very, very funny, and it doesn't really.
We seem to know 5 ways to win.
I think what is more important is that somebody has scored the highest votes and it's announced. Whether you gazette him or not,
in
he
this,
remains
in
a
this
winner.
IT age, we are going forward, 21st century, you just win in one way.
Well, we are still back.
Very briefly,
and the
around the
Commission
table.
is still,
The debate for this country now that the election is for the most crucial position is done, is do we think the individual merit hangover and the commercialization of politics is going to give us the leader win? Because at the end of the day, we should get the output.
All right.
Where does it take the country? So I want to say from the onset, we may have to reconsider marketing the party ideology, the party policy, so that individuals don't have to take themselves with the amount of money they have and what they think they
right.
I think that could reduce.
All right.
Because white people are so desperate.
In the interest of time,
you have spent yourself too much money.
All right.
And you think you must get a victory. But if it was a party candidate, if the people are voting a party, and
the party would have paid the bills. Before we close, Honorable Birahwa, let's talk about Muammar Gaddafi, the biggest story on the continent. This week, the international pressure went up on the Mr. Gaddafi, who has no official position, so he says he can't even resign. ICC prosecutor Luis Moreno Campo indicated that he was likely to charge Gaddafi as well as his family and his inner circle. The rebellion is being stepped up with a possible support reaching the rebels from several Western countries. The US is moving one of their frigates closer to the Libyan border. Gaddafi has insisted meantime that he will not accept being deposed, says the Al-Qaeda of Osama bin Laden is funding this rebellion. And looking at some of these things, Mr. Opio, what do you think we should expect by this time next week or in the coming days and weeks?
I fear bloodshed in that country, that Gaddafi is going to hold fort with his cronies. The rebels are going to go on an offensive, and the people of Libya are going to suffer. I think that this matter needs to be resolved quickly. The African Union must be firm and announce its stand. The UN, the international community, must rein in very quickly.
The African Union is not going to do anything.
If they don't, we shall see what happened in Rwanda.
They can't resolve Ivory Coast and you send them to Libya.
Happening in Libya.
Okay.
Gaddafi is entrenching family rule. He's, for lack of a better word, becoming mad, obsessed with power.
Some people think
he's going to kill.
Some people think he's been that way for a long time.
Well, I know that it's not going to take an easy push to have him out. And as the lawyer said, the people of Libya are going to be...
They want him out.
No, they are, but they are going
They're
to
going to suffer
suffer.
greatly.
They are going- You know, these are elephants fighting, and the grass is going to suffer.
You know, there's a road that's named after Muammar Gaddafi. It has the biggest road sign that I know, and I'm wondering what we're going to do with that road, among other things. There's even a mosque.
I agree entirely with the previous speakers. I detest regime change. Because regime change always has a very high cost to the masses. Whereas Gaddafi may have outlived his usefulness in the last 4 decades he has been around, it is very unfortunate that you can see already the foreign interests, like the EU, like the strong countries, are already disagreeing even on the no-fly zone. Germany is saying this, the French are saying that. Because they have, Italy, they all have interests. Whereas Gaddafi was being isolated. These countries were they were having deals, and they have interests there. So it's unfortunate that our people, our African brothers in the north are suffering because of the insincere multinational interests which are around around Libya.
Well,
but
just one last thing before you end.
We hope some sanity.
Just one last thing. I want to send out my condolences to the family and the entire people of Gulu for the loss of retired Colonel Walter Ochora. A humorous guy, a funny guy, and also very, very, very nice guy. Our hearts go out to him and his family and the entire people of Acholi sub-region. But also, more importantly, the loss of David Oti. It's a huge loss to our country, and our hearts go out to them. May their souls rest in peace.
We have to end on that note. Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Nicholas Opio, let me read out the names of our panel for recognition. Honorable Stephen Birahwa, Buliisa County Member of Parliament from NRM. He's also been re-elected. Mr. Vincent Mayanja, Deputy DP Secretary General. Mr. Nicholas Opio, Legal Consultant with AKJUL. I've been your host, Edmond. So thank you for tuning into Spectrum all week. We'll be back on Monday. Right now, you can hear the news in English, and stay tuned to the other programs on Radio 1.
Thank you.
The art of crafting a masterpiece.
We are proud